At 9:30 in the morning, a wire transfer was approved. No alarms, no warnings, no second review. For the person who approved it, this wasn't a gamble. It felt responsible. The documents were clean. The names were familiar. Saying yes felt safer than asking one uncomfortable question. Minutes later, the transfer was complete. At that point, nothing could stop it. No call made too late, no documents sent after the fact. By the time anyone realized something was wrong, the money wasn't at risk. It was gone. This collapse wasn't random. It happened because borrowed credibility replaced verification. People didn't lose money because the scheme was complex. They lost money because trust felt easier than checking. This story isn't about clever fraud. It's about how reputation, authority, and familiar names can quietly remove the need to verify anything. Every block that follows shows the same pattern. When credibility feels strong enough, verification disappears. Tom Petters didn't act like someone asking for trust. He acted like someone deciding who deserved access. He spoke calmly, avoided detail, and projected certainty. If you were allowed in, it felt earned. People around him learned something quickly. The more you asked, the more distant he became. And distance meant losing access. Verification didn't vanish by accident. It became a social risk. Petters' authority replaced proof. The strongest signal in the pitch wasn't the return. It was recognition. Petters claimed the deals ended with major American retailers, names everyone knew: Walmart, Costco, Best Buy. These names weren't evidence, they were shortcuts. Investors didn't confirm transactions. They assumed brands this large made confirmation unnecessary. Logos replaced documents. And once that happened, questions stopped. The structure itself blocked verification. Purchase orders were fabricated. Suppliers were shell entities inside the same network. Documents looked complete but couldn't be independently confirmed. Investors never saw primary confirmations. They relied on summaries filtered through Petters' system. Money moved, paper circulated, but nothing existed outside the closed loop. Verification didn't fail. It was never allowed to exist. The scheme didn't collapse with losses. It slowed with delays. Payments arrived late. Explanations grew longer. Processes were temporarily adjusted. These weren't treated as warnings. They were treated as inconveniences. Petters' reputation absorbed the doubt. His credibility explained away friction. Verification was postponed again. Leaving meant more than losing money. It meant admitting that trust had replaced judgment. No one wanted to make the call they'd avoided or send the email they kept rewriting. People defended their decision, not their capital. Status mattered more than exit. Credibility held them inside the system. When the system finally broke, the number reached around $3.7 billion. Not lost in markets, not erased by volatility. The money had never existed. Tom Petters was convicted and sentenced to decades in prison. Firms collapsed. Trust collapsed with them. The same mechanism that blocked verification allowed the damage to scale. This wasn't just Petters Group. This is how borrowed credibility destroys systems. The moment a name replaces a phone call, risk enters. The moment access feels more important than proof, you're already exposed. If asking basic questions feels uncomfortable, that's not politeness. That's the trap. It collapsed because credibility replaced verification. More investigations coming.